Hey everyone, welcome back. David here from Coffee Talk, sharing a little bit of insight, a little bit of discussion, if you don't mind, about the entire EV scam or electric vehicle scam that has been perpetrated against us by the various governments around the world, trying to force a so-called clean agenda on everyone, but they're forcing a system that's not adequately tested, not prepared for widespread use. It's inefficient and it does not work. And there's a few points I want to make here to try to drive that home. I know a lot of people are probably going to get upset. They'll see this video, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, and I have an electric car, and blah, blah. Okay, fine, whatever. Believe whatever you want, do whatever you want, but do think. Think about the points that I'm going to bring up, and look this up for yourselves. You have a computer right in front of you. The whole purpose behind the World Wide Web was to share knowledge and information, and it doesn't get used that way. It doesn't get used that way. People use it for porn and celebrity gossip and video games and garbage, but they don't learn anything, unfortunately. So please do look this up. Point number one, okay, it has to do with the military. Almost all forms of modern technology in commercial use started out with a military application. Military saw something that they knew would work and utilized it, and sooner or later it found its way into the private sector because it was efficient and because people figured out, hey, we can profit from this. If it worked, the military would do it first. Show me an electric tank. Show me an electric fighter jet. Show me an electric battleship. They don't exist. They don't exist because it's an inefficient, unproven system. Electric vehicles are not working the way that the media has tried to push for us to believe that they work, and the way that our governments have tried to push for us to believe that they work. They're inefficient for a variety of reasons, which we'll unpack a little bit here in a moment. If they were so great and so fantastic, all military vehicles would have been converted to electricity by now. And they don't have any. A handful of land drones that operate on charging, and that's about it. No transport vehicles that I'm aware of, or any other types of mechanisms in use by any military organization, relies on electric power because it's inefficient and it doesn't work. Neither do you find any heavy industry using electricity. You're not going to see trucks that haul very heavy weights being electrically powered. You're not going to see digging and earth moving equipment being electrically powered. If this was an efficient system, it would have already been converted for use from that type of industry, for the obvious reasons, because it would be a cheaper, more efficient method, and it's not, so they don't want it. Which ties into the next point, environmental cost. The machinery, the earth-moving equipment that is needed to do the mining for the ore that is necessary for the rare minerals that are needed to manufacture these vehicles and to build the batteries, leaves an incredible disaster behind them. They destroy the environments that they dig out, and they burn so much diesel fuel, it's mind-boggling. I couldn't even describe how much diesel fuel is used in the processing of the manufacturing of the batteries and other equipment that goes into electric vehicles. If you drive an electric vehicle and you knew, you'd probably get sick to your stomach if you really believed in the system. Plus the additional environmental impact of, again, the destroyed landscape, the wastewater, and everything else associated is astronomical. I wouldn't even know where to begin. Number three, as I pointed out, talking about military and industry, they don't want to use them because they know they don't work. Well, governments have pushed for internal systems to use electric, especially in a variety of different states in the US. They've gotten electric school buses, they've gotten electric transit buses, and they've gotten electric snow plows even. And most of these vehicles are mothballed now because they don't work. On our podcast, Coffee Talk Live, that I do on this channel Monday through Friday, we have read many articles over the last year of fleets being mothballed, school buses, transit buses, and electric snowplow trucks, because they don't work. They don't last but a third of the time of their gas-powered counterparts, so they're not efficient in that regard. They tend to shut down in cold weather, which is completely useless when you're talking about an electric snowplow. And the maintenance costs are incredible. Never mind the cost of the vehicles themselves, which average about a minimum of 3 times as expensive as their gas-powered counterparts. The maintenance and upkeep and repairs of these vehicles can be as much as 10 times what it would cost for a gas-powered vehicle. And they can't afford it. That, all the maintenance on top of the electric costs for these things, which is higher than a lot of people have been led to believe, it's cheaper for them to just put the vehicles in storage and forget about them, which has been happening all across the country with, again, electric school buses, electric transit buses, and electric snowplows. They're a waste of money. They don't work, and they're too expensive to maintain. Number 4, they're not as safe as they've been proposed to be. I'm sure you've all seen videos of electric vehicle fires. If something agitates that battery or punctures it or whatever, you get a very extremely dangerous spontaneous combustion that most fire departments are not equipped to put out. Well, they can contain it. They can surround the fire, but they can't really put it out. All they can do is try to keep it from spreading. They're extremely dangerous. The fires are very toxic, and those batteries do emit radiation. Although, if you look this up, it will tell you that the amount of radiation is considered to be within safe ranges, but it's still emitting radiation. So, and that's one of the big arguments with the electric school buses, was that they said, oh, well, you know, your kids are inhaling fumes. Well, they're inhaling fumes whether they're on a diesel bus or an electric bus, but now they're inhaling fumes and sitting on top of a battery that's emitting radiation. So, yeah, that's just great. And you could be talking long-term exposure. Years and years of sitting on top of a huge battery emitting a radiation. And they said it's not nearly as dangerous as a cell phone or laptop, but those still emit radiation that can and does affect people to a small degree. How much do you need to be exposed to before it becomes dangerous? It's a good question, but nobody's bothered to answer it. This is a system that we are guinea pigs for. It has not been perfected. If it was perfected and put on the market, that'd be something else, and I wouldn't have much to say. It was not perfected. It's being tested on us right now, and failing, and still being pushed, and costing us billions upon billions of untold tax dollars, funneling into these systems for them to fail. And number 5, this is why I'm doing this discussion, because it ties into a short that I did just recently that I got some feedback on. Where are the EV charging stations? I know there are some EV charging stations, but I don't see any going up. I see gas stations being built all the time. In my area, there are 6 going up right now, and the old stations are not coming down. They're just adding. And that's on top of the God knows how many that have gone up over the last few years. And however many others that I pass by driving to other areas. You know, I travel back and forth between different states from time to time. I see gas stations going up all over the place, but I don't see them building any EV charging stations. Like I said, there are a couple. There's one here, one there, onesie twosie, but I don't see anyone going out of their way to put up EV charging stations. If the industries that are pushing these agendas knew that this was something that was working and viable, they'd be throwing those stations up all over the place, and they're not. They're still building and promoting gas stations. Why? Because that's what works. So really, if they want this agenda to work, they need to go back to the drawing board, perfect the system, and then reintroduce it, and stop forcing a system that's broken onto people and making tax dollars fund it. Additionally, the most obvious is the amount of power that it takes to charge these vehicles, considering that the majority of the power being generated is still coming from the burning of fossil fuels. So are you really helping the environment if you're creating an even larger drain on a grid that relies mostly on fossil fuels, or at least more than 50% on fossil fuels? And that's another discussion I plan on having, because there's huge inefficiencies in so-called clean energy that can be easily demonstrated through the government's own websites, which I intend to do here shortly. So I'll throw it out there. There's more that could be said, but I'll leave it right there for now. Thoughts? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments section down below. Please do give the video a thumbs up if you got anything out of it. If you didn't, research this for yourself. Look it up for yourself. And don't be afraid of the answers. If you're wrong, you're wrong. There's nothing wrong with being wrong unless you're in the position of denying it. Subscribe if you're new. Share if you don't mind. Check out some of the other videos. And if that is it, then what more can I say but stay tuned, folks, because there is more to come.